We're looking at an Amana dryer, and the complaint is that it's not heating. So what we're going to do is go ahead and start it up on the time dry cycle here. So basically what we found is that the heating element is coming on and going off, and when you wiggle your timer back and forth, you can get it to cut in and cut out. So right there, that tells us we got a bad timer, that the contacts in the timer for the heat are bad. We'll see if we can show you the heat cutting in and off, on and off here. Alright, so there you can see the red glow back there. That's our element coming on. And then if I wiggle the timer or let go of the timer, you can see it cut off there. And then if I wiggle it again, it'll cut back on. So that's what will happen there. Sometimes if you start the dryer, then it just won't heat at all, depending on where that timer is at. And sometimes it'll heat if you get it just right. Alright, so next what we'll do is we're going to open up the console to get to the timer, and we're also going to test that timer contact out with our meter. This will be good if you get to a scenario to where it just doesn't heat whatsoever, and wiggling the timer doesn't cut it in and out, and then you're starting from scratch on what it could be, whether it's your fuses, fuses and element, timer, all of that. So we'll show how you can diagnose that if it is just not working at all for you. So to get the console off, there's going to be 2 1/4-inch screws through the back panel into the top of the console here. We've already taken those out. Now you're going to have 2 spring clips to release with a putty knife on either side. And we'll just lift this up and forward. Lift it down. Right, so there's our timer there. And from looking at our tech sheet here, what we're going to want to do is line 2 is where we're going to want to put one of our test leads, right at the terminal block on line 2. That comes down, goes through our centrifugal switch of the motor, so that has to be closed, and the motor has to be running to close this. So we're going to be doing a voltage check and while this unit's running, so that your centrifugal switch is closed. And then it comes down and goes through your heater, your high limit thermostat fuse, and cut off. And then it comes up to the A contact, it says on here, of the timer, so which is going to be the red wire of our timer. So we want to go from the red wire of our timer to the terminal block with the dryer running. Should get 240 volts for your heat. And you can see we only have the 1 red wire on the timer, so it's definitely going to be that one that we need. We won't need to search for the A terminal there, and then on the terminal block. So we'll go ahead and get that ready. And there's just a cover on the terminal block, 1/4-inch screw to remove that. Alright, so we're going to move the timer to an on position here, and we're going to start it up. And you can see that we do have a 247 volts right now, and if I wiggle the timer around, the voltage drops. So wiggling it back and forth, you can see it drops and comes back, and we're staying right in the same position. We're on a heated cycle the entire time. So again, it shows wiggling that timer back and forth, cutting that power in and out, which is why our heating element cuts in and out. So if you were to get to a no heat completely, where the timer just was bad completely, you wouldn't know where to start, whether it's your fuses, this, that, or the other. So this is how to test the timer to see if you're getting a good contact in the timer for your heat circuit. Alright, I just unplugged the unit. We're going to go ahead and replace that timer now. The knob will just pull straight off. And then we actually don't have any screws. This timer is going to be held on by these clips. We'll take a pair of needle nose to release those. First, we'll get our wire connectors off here. Alright, and all these are on connectors instead of single wire terminals, so can't really mix those up when you put them back on. But if yours has single wires, you want to remember where they go or take a picture. So we're just going to release these 2 clips now. There's the old timer. Just going to line that shaft in the hole there, and then push that back into place. Clip it back in those tabs. Now we can reconnect everything. I'll put our tech sheet back where we got it from here. And now we can put the console back in place. We're just gonna put these tabs back in these holes here on the top panel, clip it back in. Our knob can go back on. Alright, and then all we got left is to put our 2 1/4" screws in the back here and put our terminal block cover back on. We'll go ahead and plug it back in and test it out. Alright, so you can see our heating element coming on there, bright red glow in the back there. Wiggling the timer now has no effect on it. Heat stays on like it should. That'll take care of your repair.